Morning. Welcome to our sacred space. I'm Mary Lichty Adams, a member of the Board of Trustees of this fellowship. We are the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship of Elkhart, a welcoming community, encouraging religious freedom, nurturing individual spiritual growth, celebrating diversity, and promoting a just and sustainable world. Welcome to you all. If you are a visitor with us this morning, we encourage you to join us for coffee and conversation after the service, which will be in the gathering place across the building through the foyer, so that we may get to know you better. Also, if you'd like to know more about our fellowship, visit our website at uufe.org. This is also a good time for you to turn off your cell phones or turn them to vibrate so that we don't interrupt the service. I want to point your attention to the parking lot, which is coming along beautifully and should be ready for use by the end of August. And also, I want to remind those of you that are involved that we are having a cow meeting. That's a committee of the whole after this service, probably after a little coffee, but probably back here in the sanctuary. And there was something else. Oh, yes, we still need a third member for the search committee. So, and that would be joining William Becker and Laura Snow. So please volunteer. We need a good person. Okay, and now a special welcome to, I'm looking forward to our guest minister this morning, who's a longtime friend of UUFE and a great community pastor, Izzy Harbin.
Good morning. I'm Judy Darnell, and I'm a member of this congregation. And I'm here with our weekly announcements. Get it closer. Okay, it looks like it. Okay. Well, I'm going to skip over a couple of things that Mary just mentioned, such as the parking lot getting underway and needing to park elsewhere for a couple of weeks. The clipboard should be circulating for our regular Sunday tasks. I don't know. I don't see it going around. Okay, we'll look for it on the island, or John's going to get it. But if you could volunteer for something such as greeting or providing light snacks or flowers, you make our services and our coffee hours even more special. A reminder for committee chairs. The committee, okay, well, we will be meeting after the service, so grab your coffee and come to the minister's office. And there are a couple of weekly groups that are meeting this week. The meditation group will meet at 11:45 this morning in the Learning Center next door. And the yoga class will meet in the gathering place at 2 o'clock on Thursday. Newcomers are welcome to both. Science and Society will meet Tuesday the 23rd at 2 o'clock in the gathering place for the third installment of Your Best Brain. These are installments are not dependent on each other, so if you will get something out of it even if you haven't been to the other two. So this session will look at two topics: creativity and how our brains use our senses. The focus crew would like to remind committee chairs and or secretaries that the easiest way to beat the deadline of the 25th for the upcoming, to submit a summary of your committee's activities, it's not good when I try to ad lib, is to get your report to us within 2 or 3 days of your meeting. This solves two problems: forgetfulness and the editor's mad dash to get the focus out on time. Our food pantry is in dire need of stock. Even though grocery prices continue to soar, please help out by adding an extra shelf-stable item or two to your cart next time you shop. The more of us who contribute, the more we can help those who are even more challenged. We need things like breakfast cereal, pancake or baking mix, canned vegetables or fruit, canned meats, instant potatoes, canned chicken or beef. You may also make a monetary contribution. See Ken Claiborne if you do. There are also $50 gift cards to take shopping if you would like to share that way. Again, see Ken. Wednesday feasters will meet at Papavino's in Mishawaka at 5110 Edison Lakes Road in Mishawaka on the 24th. Contact Mary Adams by Monday, the 22nd, so that she can reserve enough space. Mark your calendars also for the reception on August 27th to celebrate the marriage of Cara Snow and CJ, is it Vita? Okay. Festivities will be here at UUFE from 1 to 5. That's on the 27th. And most of you have heard that Linda Arbogast has passed away, and Dwight would like to make the announcements about her service. Come up here so people can get recorded.
Good morning. So our dear friend, most of you probably heard that Linda Arbogast passed a few weeks ago, and we're arranging with family the service on September 17th. And Ron and Linda Gill are not here, but Ron will be sending out a request line for volunteers, for ushers and parking and that sort of thing. And where is Ken? Or maybe Ray could answer this. The parking lot will be finished on the other side. Will we have access here, or will it be torn up by then? Across the street, but on. Oh, very good. Well, just to give you a heads up, the parking will be a little more crowded because of the Arbogast family, the Bowling family, et cetera. We'll have a lot more people here. So be patient when we get closer to the date, but we'll be looking for help to set up, clean up. There won't be food served other than just cookies and general stuff, but our service will, yes, ma'am. Well, that I'm going to do that again, but just be prepared to sign up when you see the sign up sheets. Yes, Ken. September the 17th. Yeah. And you'll find out more about it when we get the email sent out. But thank you, Judy.
Okay. Okay, Mary Adams reports that the $2 community euchre games will begin at 4 p.m. on Sunday, September the 11th, and will be at 4 p.m. on second Sundays thereafter. The goal is to have fun and perhaps to add a shared meal in the future. And Mary Adams would also like to help. If you would have extra pens to spare, please pass them on to her. Please make sure they work also. And here you go, Mary. I cheated. Okay. I didn't find out how many people we had in attendance last week. Annette, do you know? Okay. 37. Okay. And we had an offering of $61 for the Sustainability Fund, which helps support the repair and maintenance of our properties. And this week's collection will be shared with Center for Healing and Hope. Thank you.
I've been around sick people. We ring the gong 3 times. Once for those who came before us. Once for those who are here now. And once for those who'll come after and build on the dream. Today's chalice lighting is from the Reverend Molly Brewer. My beloved people, I cannot pretend, and so I will not tell you that everything is okay right now, that there is no reason to be angry, that you have to be optimistic or at peace. I cannot pretend these things, and so I won't tell them to you. But now our chalice is lit. And so all I ask in this moment is that we remember the words of Rebecca Parker. There is a love. There is a love holding us. There is a love holding all. By the light of our chalice, let us rest in this love. If you'll join me in our unison covenant. Love is the spirit of this church, and service is its law, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another. This is our covenant.
Good morning. How is everybody? I am so excited to be with you this morning. I love this space. I really do. So I thought perhaps since I come from First Congregational that I would throw some scripture your way just to be traditional. But when I get to it, you'll see that I'm anything but traditional. When I first talked to the folks online, we were passing emails back and forth, and they said, oh, through the month of August, we're going to be focusing on expectations. And immediately my mind went to this. The higher my expectations, the lower my serenity. Does anybody know where that comes from? Yeah, a couple of us. We know it all too well. That comes from the big book of Alcoholics Anonymous. Yeah, a great story in the back of the book. And I thought, oh, I would love to just focus in on that. But I thought, no, they're going to expect me to do something with scripture because I come from this Christian church over here, right? So then the second thought was, oh, Micah 6:8, this is perfect. What it says in Micah is, he has told you, O mortal, what is good, and what does your Lord require of you but to do justice and to love kindness and to walk humbly with your God? Well, I like to change the words. So this is my version. You intuitively know, O mortal, what is good, and what does your conscience require of you but to do justice and to love kindness and to walk humbly upon the earth. Isn't that better? See, I like that so much better. The truth is, whether it's God, Lord, conscience, whatever it is that you choose to call the divine, the energy out there, the universe, there are three things that we know intuitively that are important for us to do right here, now, not sometime in the future, now. Justice, kindness, and to walk humbly. And so the title of my sermon is God's Serenity is Failing. It's shrinking. Because we don't do any of these things very well. None of them. I wish we did. I wish that we did as much justice as we claim to do. I wish that kindness was our highest calling. And oh, I have a lot to say about humility. I have this thing that I like to think about when it comes to humility. You know, we are hardwired for connection. Absolutely need connection. But we're also hardwired for survival. And because we're hardwired for survival, we become very selfish and self-centered in everything that we do, which sort of negates our humility. We want to be a humble people. We want to remain teachable. We want to do things that invite other people into our sphere. But then that survival instinct kicks in, and we just want to gather all of our toys and go home. Play in our own sandbox without anybody else. We don't want to hear what anybody else has to say. We're tired of it. Because if I have to play with someone else, even for 5 minutes, I know that we're going to get in an argument about something. And in this climate, I'm tired of the arguing. I don't know about you guys, but I'm tired. I'm tired of every time I turn on my computer and I go to Facebook, somebody else has decided to post something so wackadoodle on our Facebook page that I just delete the post now. I don't even deal with it. I don't try to write them back. And then I block them so that hopefully they can't post again. And I feel icky every time I do it because I think, oh man, I should be able to tell them what it means to be kind and generous and compassionate and all these things that all of us, I think, want to aspire to be. And what does justice tell me about reaching out to people who don't think like me? How do we bridge the gap? How do we draw people in? But I'm tired. I'm weary. There's a part of me that just doesn't want to do it anymore. And then I go back to this passage. See, it's required of me. There's something innate in me that says I cannot escape this. I was watching a wonderful address, college graduation address. And I thought, wow, nailed it. Have any of you seen Hannah Gadsby ever? She's a comedian. She did this whole show called Nanette, made her really popular. It doesn't matter. She stood up. She's autistic. That's probably really important. And she stood up at this graduation ceremony and she asked this group of graduates, what do you want to be? What do you want to do? Now, when you hear that question, most people would start throwing out all the different careers that they want to go into. And she finally said, I want to be kind. Tears welled up in my eyes. Yes, I want to be kind. I would like to be a kind person. I would like to be someone, when you look at me, when you experience me, what you experience is kindness and compassion. But that isn't always true either. There are times when I'm not kind. Maybe not to your face, but certainly behind your back. You know how those conversations go. You leave an event, you're with your partner, and the first thing you say, oh my God, did you see so-and-so? What were they wearing? What were they thinking? Right? Did you see how they acted? Yeah, we all have those thoughts, do we not? And sometimes they come out, and often I'm surprised when I say them. And I think, oh, golly, for all the distance I have gone in this world, there's still so much more to learn and do. And I think about my faith, and I think about what my faith calls me to be as a human being. And I know that God's serenity, whatever that looks like, is shrinking. These expectations are high, maybe even unrealistic. And the more I put on myself, the more we put on ourselves as faith communities to meet these high expectations, boy, our serenity just plummets. We feel all this anxiety and all this nervousness around this. And it's because we can't do it perfectly. And we want to, right? We want to be that shining example to the world. We want to be the change we want to see in the world. All those wonderful euphemisms that we throw out there. We want to do all of that. And we just don't do it well. I think about all of the justice work that needs to happen. And you can tick off the list. Reproductive rights, Black Lives Matter, LGBT issues, on and on and on we go. How we doing? God, some days I think I'm like this. You know, remember the picture of the cat hanging on for dear life off of the tree limb? Yeah, that's how I feel. I feel like there's never enough time to do enough. Never. And then to do it with kindness? Really? What I want to do is sling a few expletives and I want to yell at people and call them names like they call me names. And I don't want to treat them like a child of the universe because they don't treat me that way. But then we get into that tit for tat kind of stuff. And wow, where does it end? Where does it end? And if I'm honest, it just kind of blows humility out of the water. This passage challenges me every single day to suit up and show up in a different way. I don't like it. I don't like it because it's hard. It takes a lot of work. It takes self-examination. It takes that inner knowing. I have to sit with my own stuff to the point that I go, oh, yeah, there it is. There it is in all its glory. God, if you could read the journals over the years of all the things that I've written about justice and kindness and humility, it would sound like a broken record, but it's because it takes such diligence in order to keep on top of this stuff. I'd like to think that somehow I could lower my expectations and feel a little happier about the world. But I'm not sure that it really works that way when it comes to justice, kindness, and humility. We can't lower our expectations. Somehow we have to figure out how to rise to the occasion. We have to figure out how to make justice a part of who we are, how to just be kind people all the time. And to be humble, to remain teachable, to be wide open. Brene Brown talks about vulnerability being the greatest gift that we can give the world. It's the greatest act of courage that we have. Most of us, though, would prefer to armor up. It's easier to enter into the world fully armored. But I cannot be armored up and be kind and humble and a justice-seeking person all at the same time. It requires that I be cracked open, that I let the crack show, that I let that light come in so that it floods the dark places in my life. When we talk about the intuitiveness of this, I would say that there's a long laundry list of things that we know deep in our soul. We know every single day becomes an opportunity for us to think differently, to act differently, to be different. Every single day when we wake up, we have a choice. I have this routine that I do every day that helps jumpstart my day. And I set these intentions for my day. I sit down and I think about what's ahead of me. I look at my schedule. What ways can I be kind today? How can I get my ego out of the way today? How can I be a little less selfish and self-centered today? Where can I be a truth teller? Who do I need to be around for support? Where am I going to draw my energy today? See, I believe that we come together as a community, that the connection that we feel as a community gives us everything we need in order to do this stuff on a daily basis. Without community, without every single one of you, this stuff becomes impossible. We just can't do it alone. We were never meant to do it alone. That hardwired for connection piece is so important, because without the connection, we forget who we are. We forget that we're part of that interconnected web of all things. See, it's only when I can look at Mary and I can see Mary for the human being that she is, that I can look inside her and know that we bleed red all the same. Only then can I be just. Only then. When I can see your humanity, when I can look inside you and know that we are kindred spirits, only then can we be kind. And when I know that we're all in the same boat together, all walking the same earth, struggling with the same stuff, only then can I realize what humility really means. The challenge for us in all of this is to remember that we are not alone. We've never been alone. From the beginning of time, we have sought ways to connect with others. We seek out each other for a common good, for the common welfare. Justice and kindness and humility are at the core of how we do this together. And whatever it is that you believe in, however you think about this connectedness, this universe that we stumble around in, finding serenity is a luxury. We'd all like to skip through life happily ever after, but that's a fairy tale. The truth is, life is hard. It's a struggle. There is a way out. Some of you know the way out. I would say that this fits nicely and neatly into most traditions. I can't think of a single religion in the world that doesn't support justice, kindness, and humility. You know, it says in our New Testament, do unto others as you would have them do unto you. But I like Confucius's statement better, who said it long before Jesus ever did. Do not do to others what you would not want them to do to you. You see the difference. You can probably see why I like Confucius better. If we started there, if we started at that point to say, wow, what don't I want people to do to me? How do I not want to be treated? If we made a long laundry list of those things, it is likely that we would end up with a list that was filled with justice, kindness, and humility. Couldn't not be. It is my hope that as we leave this space today, that you will think about what it means to walk in justice, to hold on to what it means to be a just people, that you will practice kindness in all of your actions, and that you'll stay open to the possibility that you can be teachable still, regardless of how old you are. There's always something new to learn about yourself and about the other. And it's also my hope that you will decide every single day to take these on as a challenge, to be the very best version of yourself that you can possibly be, to do justice wherever justice is needed, to love kindness and be a kind person in all your affairs, and to walk humbly upon the earth. May it be so. All right, so take a deep breath. Questions, comments, concerns?
Oh, just wow. Thank you so much for what you had to say today.
Oh, thank you.
But I always end up, if I try to be there, how do I do that without feeling bad about my feeling? Oh, nothing. Thank you.
I kind of get where you're going. Yeah. How do we not feel bad about failing, right? About missing the mark, about not getting there. That's really simple for me. I practice the Buddhist principle of suffering. You know, all life is suffering and there's a way out, and the way out is a daily practice. And that daily practice tells me that I'm going to fail. Failure is a part of life. You know, and I think about how many ways can you fail? Well, keep counting, right? But with every failure, I learn something new. And that's how we keep going. So it isn't to me, like I stopped trying to find like ultimate happiness and to really search for contentment in everything that I do. And that contentment tells me that I'm going to fail and I will succeed.
Joan? Well, I want to say a double thank you. Izzy, this was a remarkable morning for us. And Marva, you added the frosting on the cake. Thank you so much to both of you. What a great day. And I fail all the time at the things you were talking about. And the only thing I know of to say to myself is try to do better tomorrow.
That's it.
I read something recently that I think addresses a little bit about the humility, and that is, if you don't look back and see things in your life that make you cringe, you haven't been growing.
Ding, 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 ding. That's it.
Ken.
I noticed you you did touch on the first of the two noble truths as you were going through your discussion, and those are the two that are the most, I don't know, downtrodden, I would guess. I think the first one is life is hard, but the fourth truth is about the eightfold path, and it talks about all of the things you can do, and then you talk about daunting. That
Right.
is a daunting path right there.
Right. But here's the cool thing, and this is one of the reasons why I love practicing Buddhism in connection with Christianity. I do like the teachings of Jesus. Hear me very carefully, like narrow window there. Not Christianity as a whole. In fact, I would love to find a different word because I don't fit that word. I think that the Buddhist teachings actually take us that next step. They're very practical, clear steps that show us how to live the teachings of Jesus, right? How to get out of your own way, so to speak, right? And when we do right livelihood, right speech, right thinking, all of those kinds of things, then we do have a way out. We do have the ability to practice our way into a better life.
Thank you for your sermon. Recently, I got a phone call from one of my sons saying, "How did you enjoy your visit with your favorite child?" Who was his brother. And I said to him, I don't have a favorite. I've got 6. And I said, when Neil was born, he was the easiest child to give birth to. But all of us, every one of the 6 of you and me and your dad, who I divorced 35 years ago, I didn't say that to him. We all are imperfect human beings. We're a mixture of positive and negative, and all we can do is try to get to be the best person we can be before we leave.
Right. Absolutely.
Okay, Dwight. Dwight, you get the, okay, you'll get the last word, Dwight.
My Buddhist nun friend, I think you know Venerable Bluing. Sorry, have to bite it. But she's taught me so much. But we were talking about patience, and every time we have to wait in line, wait in our car, wait on the phone, it's an opportunity to practice patience. And I remind myself of that often. And actually, you know what? It's beginning to work. That practice thing. Yeah. It's all an opportunity to practice. I've also figured out that gratitude is, it's the other side of kindness. And so they really need to go together. And I've found that when I appreciate the kindness of others, it helps me to be kinder. A few years ago, I put together these cards that say, "Thank you. Your act of kindness has made a difference. Pass it on." I just wanted to pass it on to you.
Oh, thank you so much.
And are you looking for a new job, Izzy?
We'll talk. I'm glad that you brought up the word gratitude. In recovery, we always talk about an attitude of gratitude. And I, as a therapist, am convinced that the practice of gratitude can get us out of all kinds of weird emotions, like depression, right? If you can get somebody involved in being grateful for what they already have, even the smallest of things like a bowl of cereal or the sun coming out, it's amazing what it does to the psyche. It completely flips you up on your end. It changes everything. And so, my sponsor years ago, she said, "I want you to make a gratitude banana, right? And on the right-hand side, I want you to do things that are intangible." What? You know how long it took me to do that list? Almost 3 weeks. I struggled. I didn't know what to be grateful for because I wasn't grateful at the time. I didn't know. I mean, what do you mean by gratitude? Now I can whip out a gratitude list in about 20 minutes because, well, Peter Mayer, "Everything is Holy Now." That song, like that is the one, it just completely changed how I saw everything. The first time I heard that song, it's been years ago. Person we come in contact with is something to be grateful for. Jackie, did you have a comment?
Did you have a comment?
I very much appreciated you talking about sort of not aging out on learning, on being teachable, I believe is the word that you used. And I think I'm repeating probably what some others have said, but I know through my Al-Anon membership, yes, we mess up, but we're still absolutely accepted and accepted within myself. And through that, I've learned that, yeah, it's going to happen. It's probably going to happen a lot. But as long as I can accept that and then surrender to that and then learn from that, I'm okay. So as always, I very much thank you for your words.
Yeah, we talked about acceptance last week. Right? Acceptance is hard. But when I understand that something just is what it is, that I can't fix it or change it necessarily because I don't have that kind of power, boy, it just alleviates so much of the hard work to accept and to move on and to worry about what I can fix, just me, in me, my attitude, my outlook.
I want to piggyback on something that Janelle said about patience. I work with kids, teens, talk about needing patience. But that's been my mantra with working with kids for these last, going on 11 years. Patience is a skill and you need to practice it. So, kids are antsy. This is an opportunity to practice your patience. And then we sit and talk, and the next thing you know, their time has elapsed and they get to go do what they want. And so, yes, patience is a skill, just a reminder, and you need to practice it every day.
Practice makes permanent.
And every time you have an ungrateful son or an ungrateful granddaughter, it's an opportunity to model kindness and model patience and model gratitude that you have them.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. 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 There's nothing else that can be said there. Yes. There's a reason I don't have children.
Okay. Last word.
I just want to say that I truly feel blessed with having you here today.
Thank you.
Everything you said really deeply touched me and opened my eyes. Thank you.
Welcome.
Last chance, Dwight.
Thank you all so much.
All right. Last hymn number 123, Spirit of Life.
We're going to sing this through twice, obviously, because it's fairly short. But on the second time through, Marva might come up with something a little different on the accompaniment. But if even so, think this is so familiar to us. We take it for granted, but really let's think of words. I think this really, really fits this morning. Let's stand, please. Thank you.
And so now we ask that all that is holy breathe life into us, to crack us open so that light may flood in and illuminate the dark spaces in our hearts and in our minds. And may the peace of this community be with us as we leave this space in our coming and our going from this time forth until we meet again.